I also have office in Mandeville, Louisiana. I'm licensed in the state of Texas, Florida, and Alabama. So I travel a lot, I talk a lot, and one of my main goals in life is, as Robert Ingersoll says, we rise by lifting others. So I'm here to help you live your best life. I have a Western degree in medicine from LSU Medical School. I also have an Eastern medicine degree, so I'm sort of a blend. I'm a board member of the International Society for Sexual Health. And so that brings to the table a lot of things that I don't believe a lot in Big Pharma. So Big Pharma helps Big Pharma. Big Pharma doesn't help us. One of the things that we know, for example, let me give you a small example. There's a drug called Farxiga. You may or may not be familiar with it. It's a normal diabetic drug, and it helps people lose weight. It also supports kidney function. In this country, it's about $600 a month. A client of mine has a wife in Brazil, and she took his prescription from me and went to the Brazil pharmacy and got it for $30 for 90 days. The same pill, same packaging. So it just shows you a little bit about the undermining of Big Pharma. That drives us to know their motives aren't always good or on the behalf of us. So let's go back to what I was talking about, which is let's balance hormones naturally so that we can beat these holiday blues. With the hustle and bustle of the holidays, also the hustle and bustle of work in general, it pushes us to our testosterone side. A lot of us don't even know those things are going on. It's chemicals that are being spit out in your brain. When we go to our testosterone side, we can accomplish so many things in the business world, a lot of times better than our male colleagues. Why is that? Males can only do one thing at a time. And it's not just an old-fashioned joke, it's actually the way their brains are wired. We can do 5 things at once. We can answer the phone and sign something over here and be finding whatever we need in our purse, and we can do it very eloquently. With that, though, comes our stress, flight, fight, freeze response, which means a pop in cortisol. Well, that pop in cortisol will get you on target, but it will also get your testosterone surging. Also, that cortisol is spiking your sugar and spiking the making of free fatty acid and fat cells, so you're sitting there blowing and going, and you're making fat cells. None of us want that. So what we can do naturally to get back to our female side is to slow down a moment, do some simple things for yourself. So if you'll turn on YouTube or Google if the weather's bad outside, or if you have time to go to a class, Tai Chi, Pilates, yoga, make that time for yourself, because when you're doing something for you, it brings the Zen back. It takes you out of that sympathetic fight, flight, and freeze mode and back to your parasympathetic side, which is rest, repair, and digest, regenerate. When you get yourself to your parasympathetic side, your estrogen normally replenishes itself. And it doesn't matter if you're menopausal. There are other agencies in the body that make estrogen besides just the ovaries. Now, no, you won't have your normal estrogen levels, but you will put out enough to get your brain back in sync. So cortisol high, good for focus, sharpness, and making decisions. Cortisol high, not good for us as females. We have to go there sometimes, but we need to pull ourselves back out of there at other times as well. So you could use a product. I just brought 2 of my products here. There are certainly other ones out on the market. And when you're shopping for supplements, make sure you're getting those that have the GMP seal of approval. So the GMP seal of approval says that a product was made in an FDA-approved facility so that you're not getting a bunch of junk. They can put chalk in a supplement, and they do it at GNC, Walgreens, Walmart, all of them. And as long as it doesn't harm you, it does not have to have the ingredients that are on the label unless it has the GMP seal of approval. So this is a product called Adrenal Balance.
That doesn't seem right.
It's horrible. I actually have an article from the FDA that in 2015 they were going to stop all this. That's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't done anything. Maybe Robert Kennedy will get in there and do
Maybe.
something. Anyway, I digress. Adrenal balance. So you want a product that's got ashwagandha, rhodiola, and ginseng. Ashwagandha, rhodiola, and ginseng, or adrenal balance. You can kind of hear the word balance in there. So what does that do? When the cortisol surges, that's your adrenal glands jumping. That's not good. Here's neutral. And an adrenal adaptogen makes the adrenal gland adapt for getting to rebalance. So ashwagandha, rhodiola, ginseng will pull that cortisol down to neutral. Okay? Now, what if you're under chronic stress? You have an illness, or you've taken care of someone in the family that's got a severe illness, or just you're overloaded at work, whatever the case may be. If you're under chronic fatigue, you can get to that chronic fatigue syndrome, or otherwise synonym, adrenal burnout. It is a real thing. It may not stop you in your tracks, but you're walking around feeling depressed and burned out. It's everything you can do to get dressed and to get into the office, or take care of the kids, or. So the cortisol also can plummet down into that adrenal burnout. The adrenal adaptogens, ashwagandha, rhodiola, ginseng being your top three, will pull them back up to neutral. So the lovely thing about balancing your adrenal glands is you're going to keep yourself healthy, and you're going to keep your cortisol from going crazy, bottom up and down. Exercise is one of the natural ways to do that too. Okay, so that tells about cortisol. We also want to go to our doctors, our primary care or anti-aging, whoever doctors. You want them to check your thyroid. So we all have T3 and T4, TSH and free T3. When those are out of whack, and most every woman as they hit perimenopause and menopause will be out of whack. It doesn't mean that you've got a major thyroid disorder, and that's not what we're really worried about. If you had a major thyroid disorder, it would have been diagnosed. You'd have gone into congestive heart failure or gained 50 pounds. Something significant would have happened to alert someone to check those blood levels. If you've just got a little sluggishness that goes on as we go through perimenopause and menopause, then the numbers can get off of 0.5 to 1.0. That is a strategically optimal running thyroid gland. So when you're not running a TSH, or representative of thyroid hormone number 4, between 0.5 and 1.0, little things happen. You stop making happy hormone. You start putting on a few pounds because the metabolism slows down. Your cholesterol starts rising. Your blood pressure starts rising. So fatigue, different little things are going on, and you think, some of you think you're going crazy. I mean, yeah, but you're not. It's just your thyroid. So if the thyroid's running, we said 0.5 to 1.0 is great. If it starts drifting out there to 2, 2.5, 3, well, there are some of my colleagues in the Western medicine world that will just go, yeah, it's not outside of 5, don't worry about it. Well, if we know it's optimal between 0.5 and 1.0, we're not going to wait for it to get to 5, because what about 2, 3, and 4? You got to be feeling bad, you know? So when we pull it back just with a little hormone, all of a sudden, the light, we can think clearer. Oh, why did I come in the room? Oh, my keys. All of those things start popping and making sense again. When it's sluggish, 2 plus 3 is 4. All of those things, your cognition comes back. So that's the TSH is for T4, and then there's one other major hormone, which is T3. You check the free T3, should be between 3.8 and 4.3. So it's counterintuitive, but that one, if it's sitting around at 0.5 or 1 or 1.5, we need to give you some T3 hormone to get you back up between 3.8 and 4.3. The numbers aren't important, and I don't expect you to remember the numbers. Just know that there are optimal numbers, and if you're not there, you're not going to be feeling good. You're not going to be burning calories. You're going to be exhausted. Your cholesterol is going to inch up. Your blood pressure is going to inch up. And your middle is going to inch out, which none of us want. There are the other hormones as well. And they're all very important to us. Some of you may be candidate for bioidentical hormone. hormones. And I love the hormone creams. There are over 400 studies that prove that topical bioidentical hormone creams are not only safe, in some of the other countries, they're actually using it to fight breast cancer. In this country, things are changing. So we need to look at our progesterone, our estradiol, our estriol, estrone, SHBG, DHA, DHEA, and pregnenolone. So why do I mention all those big science words? Because if someone just draws a FSH and goes, yeah, you're in menopause, they didn't do you any favors. You need to know what's going on with your whole cascade. So hormones are an orchestra, and if we're not playing an orchestra, we're going to be stressed, and full of anxiety, depressed, so on and so forth. So bioidentical hormones may be an option for some of you. If for some reason you have a contraindication or you just don't feel like you want to do that, what are some things that we can do naturally to support those hormones? Well, did you know? If you're eating out of a box or a bag, if you're eating processed foods, if you're eating white foods are really the devil. You don't ever want to dance with the devil. That's bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, and sugar. If it's white, it's bad at night. Bad stuff. Don't want it. So if you're going to have a bread, I don't own a part of Dave's bread, but I wish I did. He really does make a good bread. It's actually rated 100 out of 100. But instead of 2 slices, you do a half a slice. It's a treat, right? All the wheats, they're about 10% better than the whites, so that's just a marketing ploy. Breads are not your friend. In terms of pasta, take that extra little step and make spaghetti out of squash or zucchini. It really doesn't take long. It tastes pretty much equivalent, and you're getting some wonderful nutrients. So colored foods are really your best friend. So your reds, your purples, your oranges, so blueberries and raspberries and blackberries and carrots, apples, zucchini. Anything with color is a food that's going to feed you in a good way. And it balances your hormones. So good nutrients produce good hormones. I mentioned the pasta, the rice. So there are black and purple rices. I know you can get them at Whole Foods. It's not a plug for Whole Foods. That's just the only place locally I've been able to find them. You can certainly find them online as well. But you still don't want a whole plate full because those food categories, bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, and sugar, are all going to turn into pure sugar in the body. And that sugar is going to push up your bad hormones and push down your good hormones. Where colored foods don't. Your fatty fishes, so tuna, salmon, mackerel, are excellent because they're going to increase your omega-3s, fish oils in the body, which are excellent for your brain, and they are good natural hormone producers. You can also find them in your seeds, so like flax seeds, walnuts, chia seeds, excellent in terms of giving you your omega-3, but as well as all of those nutrients in your beans, legumes, and seeds are excellent to produce natural hormones. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is an excellent resource. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, although I don't ever think they'll rename it. It's a pro-hormone, and it goes down the line and makes other hormones. It's excellent, hard to get from foods. You can get a little bit from mushrooms and a little bit from fish. Please don't follow the myth, and it's all over YouTube. My colleagues say it is a myth. There are a few of us out there, and I was listening to a doctor on a podcast yesterday, and I was like, yay, she's got it. You've heard about the ozone's busted, so please don't go out today if it's not necessary. You hear that from time to time. Once that ozone layer became compromised, we're getting really bad radiation from the sun. So any small amount of vitamin D that you would have got is way compromised, and you don't want to get your vitamin D from the sun. Please wear your sunscreen, titanium or zinc, because we can get vitamin D in a lot better ways. We have vitamin D drops, serum drops. They're so easy, and you can get your levels up immediately. Is vitamin D important? Yes. Not only for hormones, for your bones, to fight depression and diabetes. Vitamin D, can't say enough about it. Your level, you want it way up at between 85 and 100. I see it down in the teens all day long. People aren't supplementing, and they really should. So Let me round cap back and see what are the nutrients that we really need to support our hormones. They're magnesium. Magnesium is the big one. Magnesium is found in your fatty fish and in your nuts and seeds. So lentils, black-eyed peas, lima beans, all those good things. Your B family. Your, yes? That's it.
Great to help digest and, all
I'm going to give you, I'm going to have a handout. We'll send you an email with this whole thing.
good.
Yeah, sure.
About magnesium.
Yes.
I've tried to supplement with magnesium before, and I find that it doesn't agree with me immediately.
Okay, so are you talking about in terms of gastrointestinal issues? Okay, so magnesium oxide is going to do that all day long. That's what's available in the drugstore, and you're not going to absorb it. So all you're going to do is bathe the
I
commode.
wonder, am I actually in my natural dietary choices, am I actually just getting enough?
Well, it's very easy to find out by a blood test, right? So magnesium's aggravating her, and how does she know she's getting enough just from her normal diet? And it's via blood work. So you can see your magnesium in blood work. You want to be 2.4, 2.5. I rarely find that when I draw blood, unless they're supplementing. So magnesium glycinate, magnesium glyropyrrolate, they're really tough words. We have a magnesium powder product. It's got 3 elemental magnesiums in it. It's excellent for sleep. I dare you to stay awake when you take it. And it's got no sleeping pills in it. It just really is very, very soothing and relaxing. It will orchestrate your bowels. It won't make you become extremely loose if your gut's healthy. So you may have a little bit of a leaky gut where you need probiotics and prebiotics called together
It may
synbiotics.
not really be the magnesium itself, but the magnesium triggering as well.
It could be, yeah. And leaky gut is so common because if any medicine we put in our mouth, a lot of the foods that we eat that are processed and have antibiotics in them and xenoestrogens in them, and I could digress a lot, but yeah, a good magnesium shouldn't do that to you. If it is, then make sure you're on a probiotic and a prebiotic, and that ought to correct that for you. Yeah. So magnesium, the family of B vitamins. So B1, 3, 5, 6, B9, B12, all of those chase out bad estrogens. And oh, by the way, guess what we make after menopause? The only one we naturally make is E1, which is the deadly one, the cancer-causing estrogen named estrone. Your family of B vitamins will help to chase that little guy down a little bit, as much as it can do naturally. And it'll kind of support E2 and E3, estradiol, estriol, which are your good hormones, which is what you produced when you were 25 and weren't out wise enough to appreciate it. So, magnesium, vitamin D, your family of B vitamins, your probiotics and prebiotics, otherwise known as synbiotics. Those are your main core 4 that are going to protect your hormones naturally. We have a product called Hormone Detox, which helps chase out some of that bad E1 and other bad hormones in the body. Adrenal balance isn't necessarily from a food group, or it'd be really hard to get from a food group, but you can certainly get them either individually or in combination like this product. And the main ingredients there, ashwagandha, ginseng, and rhodiola. So take that time out to exercise, and if you say to yourself, only got 10 minutes, it's not going to count, it will count. It will count. Walk from your desk, go up and down stairs. Remember, when we're hustling and bustling, whether it's getting ready for the holidays or when we're at work, we're producing way too much testosterone, and you need to get a little bit of zen to get your normal estrogen to go up. You'll be so much happier. And last but not least, this is no matter what age, you can produce oxytocin. Oxytocin is the happy hormone, the love hormone, the bonding hormone. So if you don't have a pet, you might want to get one, because when you pet, you start producing oxytocin. When you breastfeed, you start producing oxytocin. But I don't want to ever do that again. If you go volunteer at an animal shelter, there's studies proving how much oxytocin pops up. Or if you go volunteer and serve at a homeless shelter, because they all serve holiday meals. And it's a great way to give back. And remember, we rise by lifting others. And when we give, we get so much more in return.
Well, I just got educated, not last March, the March before, about crickets from Dr. Burkenstock. I will tell you this, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I actually sleep all night now, and I have 3 little clickets that I use, and it's wonderful. Not only that, I like men again. I like dating again. I kind of like myself again. So,
What's a click-in?
what's a click-in? I knew it. I knew it.
So it's bioidentical hormone creams. There's 3 of them, 3 individual. One has your testosterone DHEA in it, and it's custom built for you, right? So it's not pulled off of a shelf. You look at your blood work and determine the amount of milligrams of each hormone nutrient that you need. Then we have one that's got your estradiol and estriol, E2 and E3. E3 goes into the background and tells E1 to get out of here. We don't want you, because it's bad, it causes cancer. And then E2 goes around the body and does over 300 functions, good functions in the body, from building bones, maintaining the architecture of the brain, heart health, keeping the arteries pliable, so on and so forth. And then last but not least, the third cream is progesterone, vitamin B6. Oh, we'll just put vitamins in there. Remember, hormones, vitamin B controls the hormones. So, and melatonin. Melatonin, can't say about it enough. It's amazing. Melatonin is anti-aging. It will fight Parkinson's, traumatic brain injury, cognitive decline, memory loss. So everybody should be on melatonin, and a good medical grade one. We're the only country that melatonin is available over the counter, and DHEA as well, which is another hormone. In other countries, you have to have a prescription from your doctor to get melatonin.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Now, of course, you're going to get.
Why? What is the difference? Why?
Different countries are different. You know, I don't know why. In other countries, you can walk in and get antibiotics. In this country, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's good or bad. Yes.
What is the right doctor to discuss hormones and testing?
Well, you know, that's a great question. So I went through medical school right here at LSU. My son went in Mississippi, and he's a hospitalist at East Jefferson Hospital. And my other son here, Blaze, has a master's in PA. He's a physician associate. And none of us got any training in hormones. None of us got any training in nutrition, vitamins. There was one day for him. In the 90s, there was one day for me. And 10 years ago, there was one day for my oldest son, Austin. And they grew up in my world. They traveled all over Europe with me to learn all this. So they know. And it's a shame. It's just not taught. Even, with all due respect, even your OBGYNs, they're taught about delivering babies. They're taught about vaginal cancer, cervical cancer. They're not taught about how to treat with bioidentical hormones or any hormones, really. They'll give you a patch or a pill. And Premarin, you may have heard that name before, Premarin, may or may not. They're still prescribing it.
Yeah.
It's E1. It's the cancer-causing hormone. Like, don't trust me, go look at the data. E1, and it's made from pregnant horse urine. Do you think your body wants to see a horse every day? It does not. It does not. No. So bioidentical topical hormones have all kinds of studies. They're the safe way to go. And it's 3 different creams. That's what it says, 3 clickets. So yeah, and it's amazing. Your husband might look good again, or at least the mailman. And you can think again, and your belly starts getting back.
Yeah.
I got a waistline again. This is amazing, and it gives you the ability to burn the calories. It's not going to take off the fat, but it gives you the ability, and you start noticing. Wait a minute, I have a waist. Yeah.
I was going to tell you, you may want to mention too, I don't know if it's, I would call it a fad, but a lot of people, I'm from Florida, and a lot of people do them. I'm not for pellets, but a lot of my friends are like, oh, I got the pellet, you got the pellet, I'm 52, oh, you got the pellet, and
Yes. Okay.
But
So
you can't control, right? So
no, it's. Thank you for bringing that up. It's hard for me because I'm also a board member of the National Menopause Society, and they just keep shaking their heads, going, "What the hell?" Excuse my French. It's a fad, and it's not good for you.
Yes.
You're number one. I'm an anti-aging doctor, so I do Botox and lasers and all this stuff. Well, I don't want to make a scar in your buttocks. I don't. And you have to insert it, and you have to insert it every 3 months. Eventually, you look like a little heroin addict with a little zip, 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 zip. No, please. The pellets
I have that already. It's called cellulite.
And the pellets can only hold 2 hormones at the max. You already heard me go through the litany of scientific words. There's at least 6, if not 7 hormones that need to be balanced. So I'm giving you 2. It would be like you going to listen to the orchestra and instead it's you're not balanced. You can't be. You've only got 2 things going on in a recipe that's supposed to have 7. So I'm not a big fan. Do I know how to do it? Yes. Does Blaze know how to do it? Yes. And occasionally, I'll make someone sign risk and benefits. I really don't recommend this. But if it's between that and you going to swallow a Premarin or something else deadly, I'll do it. It's not that they're deadly, they're incomplete. Nobody's monitoring it. And look, whether I jack you up with testosterone or I jack you up with cocaine, you're going to feel good. Doesn't mean it's doing good things to the body, right? Balance. When you're physiologic, meaning as the body would like to see things, then we're homeostatic and nothing's turning off, nothing's turning on. And the body, a homeostatic body doesn't get cancer, it doesn't get diseases, it stays happy and healthy and longevity and vitality. When we bring it out of homeostasis, like when we rev the engine with these huge amounts of testosterone or huge amounts of anything, whether it's bodybuilders or bioidentical hormones in the buttocks or whatever else they're doing, or sometimes they're even writing for the injectables, you're going to super physiologic and you're going to wind up, something's going to break because the body wants to be in balance. It doesn't want to be revved up on anything. So,
Okay, so I don't know that we got an answer. What kind of doctor should we look for?
Oh, okay. So I'm a blend. So I'm an anti-aging doctor. I would look in your community for people that are doing bioidentical hormones. Look for their training. You can send me an email. We don't mind answering it, and I'll tell you. Like if I look at their credentials, well, yeah, I know where they were trained. Yeah, sure, yeah. But
Bioidentical what?
bioidentical hormones. Bioidentical means I'm identical to the hormones that are inside of my body. I'm giving you the same thing. And they're made from plants. Yeah, not animals. Don't want animals.
Can I ask, you had mentioned the DHEA. Could you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, DHEA is the precursor to testosterone, and it's made in the adrenal glands. And DHA has a lot of functions throughout the body. And if you went through all the functions of all the different hormones, they're very complementary and most of them do a lot of the same thing, but they all are different flavor, right? So to make a proper pie, you can't just have flour. You gotta have, the sugar and the eggs and all that. So your hormone milieu is a recipe or is a whole conglomerate that comes together and then does the proper job. So DHEA is the precursor to testosterone. It supports the hormones, it supports brain health, it supports gut health, bone health, heart health, everything. But again, you don't want to take just one thing. You want a whole orchestra. Yeah. It wouldn't be wrong to take DHEA. It's not a sin to take it alone. Unlike if you were...
But isn't it marketed as a sleeping aid? Or-
DHEA?
Yeah.
DHEA is kind of stimulating. I wouldn't take it at night.
Okay.
Maybe there's something similar.
I can't remember. I know
That's
I got
okay.
it,
I mean,
magnet.
No, that's okay. Well, and then the word is this long, right? And then the abbreviation, and then there's so many abbreviations. Where do you start? Where do you stop? But your main elements that will help you sleep at night is melatonin, vitamin B6, valerian root, some good things. You don't want to go after the Benadryls. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank y'all so much.